Hello and welcome, everyone, on behalf of Genesis Chiropractic Software. I'm Dr. Tabor Smith, and I'm honored to be here with President of the IFCO, Dr. Shane Walker. Dr. Walker, thank you for being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be a great webinar, and if you don't mind starting us off, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure, certainly, thanks. Just on a personal level, I live and practice in Naples, Florida. I have for almost 13 years, and I kind of bounce around. I have chiropractic offices in Medellin, Colombia, as well as Quito, Ecuador, so I'm kind of rotating around those right now.
Nice.
So professionally, that's it. Actually, my whole life is chiropractic, and it couldn't be more fulfilling. And then, of course, with International Federation of Chiropractors and Organizations, IFCO, I'm currently serving as president of that group. So that's kind of my life in a nutshell. And
that keeps you busy, though, I'm sure?
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Well, tell us, for those of us who don't know what the IFCO is, give us an overview of what is the International Federation of Chiropractic Organizations?
Yeah. Okay, super. So first of all, the organization is a trade organization, obviously, in chiropractic. And the organization got probably close to 40 years old at this point. And the IFCO was started by a group of chiropractors in Davenport, Iowa, at the time were a part of another subluxation centered group, trade organization. And at the time, 40 years ago, became frustrated because that group was, in their opinion, beginning to become watered down. And so they started the IFCO to help perpetuate the mission of straight subluxation-centered chiropractic. So, if you were to look into the IFCO, our mission is one thing and one thing only, and that mission is to protect, promote, and advance chiropractic as a separate and distinct profession that's dedicated specifically to the detection and correction of vertebral subluxation, so life can be expressed more fully. I mean, that's our mission. So our mission is really simple. If we were to paraphrase that, the mission is to see every human being on earth checked and adjusted for subluxation from birth until the grave. And a lot of people go, hey, that's a pretty big vision to have. And I've always been, well, if you don't have a big vision, you're guaranteed to have a small result. On the flip side, if you shoot for the stars, you're going to hit the moon. So we're not stopping with that mission and strategy, and we're going to keep plugging away because listen, it's not a cliche. Everybody that's listening right now who's in practice, you own this concept probably that people who receive regular chiropractic care live a better life. So why in the world would you not want that to be a global desire?
Yep, I completely agree, and I think that's obviously a very, very important issue, and it's also one that is a popular issue. I mean, just this weekend I was at one of the Dr. Fred DiDomenico's elite seminar in New Jersey, and Dr. Ernie Landy spoke there, and we actually interviewed him just one of our webinars a few weeks ago, but he's just passionate about philosophy, and really the chiropractic philosophy and the word subluxation, that's our pillar that we stand on. I mean, that's what we have. And Dr. Ernie was telling a story about a medical doctor who was actually speaking at a medical seminar and said, those chiropractors, if you take away their philosophy, they have nothing. And it was totally right. If hospitals start doing what they call manipulations, if we don't have our philosophy, there is nothing different there. And so tell us a little bit about the philosophy that you have, the IFCO's philosophy on subluxation, and why you think that's important for us to hold on to.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And I think sometimes subluxation and philosophy get merged, but subluxation does not apply in any way to the philosophy of chiropractic. Subluxation is a philosophy of chiropractic, okay, and then there's the science of chiropractic. So I think a lot of times that's where we get this from the other side of the profession, that they think that, oh, the subluxation is some kind of archaic, new agey, wackadoodle concept. No, subluxation is a mechanistic thing. It's a finding. Now, the philosophy of chiropractic is simple. If you look at the major premise of chiropractic, it's that is the philosophy of chiropractic. You know, that there's a universal intelligence in all matter, constantly giving to it all its actions and maintaining it in existence. That's the philosophy of chiropractic. What our objective of chiropractic is very simple: location, detection, and correction of vertebral subluxation. That's the application. That's the art. That's the art leg of that three-legged science, philosophy, and art stool. So I think that's really important to understand that, you know, we are defined by our objective. A lot of times you hear people talk about principled chiropractic, and that term concerns me a little bit sometimes, because the principles of chiropractic, if you go read the 33 principles, they don't deal with anything about subluxation. And when I say this to people, they go, wow, I never thought about it that way. You read the 33 principles, those are principles that you could be using as an acupuncturist, because they're principles of life and healing and health. So anybody could take those principles. That's why the concept that some of the schools are spouting off on as vitalistic. Well, I could be a vitalistic dog walker. You know, but what's your objective, right? What's your objective? So when you couple the chiropractic philosophy, which I think is one of the most powerful things ever handed down to man, and you couple that with an objective like removing interference from the central nervous system, man, now you are making a difference in the world, and that just gives me goosebumps.
Right. Wow. Well, actually, I really, really appreciate that explanation there, because that, that makes perfect sense, and that makes sense, you know, why you guys do what you do. And you guys are involved in a lot of political fight for the subluxation. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah, I mean, if I could just give you a 2-minute rundown on this, what's happened in the last year and a half. First of all, and I really hope everybody hears this and feels me on this. There's been a lot of discussion about drugs in chiropractic in the United States, and then we had the issue with, over the last couple of years in Europe, of them trying to debunk the subluxation concept and all these things going on. And it's very, you know, you look at what happens in New Mexico and Colorado and Great Britain and all these things that are going on. It's a very organized, planned attack to move chiropractic out of its own principles and into allopathy. It's very organized, and it's a worldwide movement. There's other organizations that are driving this from a mechanistic side of chiropractic. And so there has to be not only an equal and opposite force to correct this, but there needs to be a superior and opposite force to correct this. And that's what the IFCO has become. I can tell you in the last 2 years, the IFCO membership has almost tripled. We have chiropractors, IFCO members, not just IFCO members. I mean, anybody can get names on a list, but chiropractic warriors in I believe 31 countries now. New associations, subluxation-centered organizations popping up in numerous countries worldwide. And so it's really exciting what's happening now. And I could take an hour to explain it, but you look at the attempt to bring drugs in the scope of practice in Colorado, that was crushed almost single-handedly by an IFCO member who was on the board in Colorado. So we can look at North Dakota. We've got our state representative in North Dakota, Justin Barton, who in North Dakota they were trying to get rid of any form of care plans and prepayments and anything like that. They wanted to go straight for fee-for-service medical type fee systems. And Dustin and a handful of other people, and alongside of us, and IFCO and myself, we were able to put the brakes on that, and a lot of people responded to that. Netherlands, France, Great Britain, there have been things in the last year, and we've been hammering this as hard as we possibly can. And this is the importance of having a large IFCO with numerous affiliate organizations underneath our umbrella, because what happens is if you practice, let's say you practice in France, and some wacko law comes out that infringes on your ability to practice your art. not only does the ISTO respond like we always do, but let's say we've got 56 affiliate groups. They get 56 different letters and 56 different phone calls from 56 different countries. You see the power in that. So that speaks volumes. And so we've got to expand our vision outside of chiropractic in the United States. That's one component of it. And the brilliant thing, it doesn't mean we ignore the United States. ISTO is more influential right now in the United States than it's ever been. But what happens is when we expand our influence into other countries, even when something happens negatively in the United States, all of our brothers and sisters pile in internationally on top of the threat, and it makes a big, big difference. And so, I could go on and on about this, but hopefully you get the vibe there.
No, definitely see the huge importance in that, and that we have to have organizations like the ISCO that are, it seems like to me almost like guard dogs for the truth, because a lot of chiropractors, we put our head down and we get in practice and we work hard in practice, but we don't see the plot that those other individuals have against the chiropractic truth, the subluxation. I don't see that happening because it's not in my state, those types of things. But we have people like you that bring that up to our awareness and are able to fight that and knock that down. It does rise up. And so tell us a little bit about how would I get involved with the ISCO, and what is your vision for your members, and what are you looking for?
Okay, good question. I'm not going to tell you yet how to join ISCO. I want to explain what I think is a more important concept.
Okay.
You mentioned we kind of put our head down in practice, and you alluded to the fact that we do. And this is what chiropractors do, especially our type of chiropractors, is we put our head down, we blow up a big, huge practice, we develop an amazing, big life for ourselves, and our heads in the sand, and things, the profession's falling apart around us, and we haven't done anything about it. And that's why it's essential to join an organization that is in alignment with your values as a chiropractor. If you see chiropractic centered on the correction of subluxation and the enhancement of life, then you should be an ISCO member, because that dues money. Let me tell you something. When you pay your yearly dues to ISCO as a member, that money, we're not going to tell you we're going to use that money to promote chiropractic and keep drugs out and expand the principle, and then behind your back take the money and go sue Blue Cross and Blue Shield so we can get reimbursed for mixing better. ISCO isn't going to do that. There's other organizations that will do that for you. Okay, we're not going to do that for you. Every dollar that we take in, is allocated towards one of four things. So I'm going to tell you that right now, and this is very important. And you can carve this in oak, because it is fact. We have what we call our 2025 vision for chiropractic, where we want to see the chiropractic profession by 2025. The first part of our master plan. See, everybody, it's really, when there's a problem in chiropractic or there's a threat in some state, it's really easy to go in and try to put the fire out. But that's allopathy. Okay? Waiting for a problem to arise and then going and trying to put the fire out, that's allopathy. So the profession has been screaming for a plan for years, and ISCO has it, and here's this. 2025, the first thing we're going to see is ISCO chiropractors in 150 countries. Number two, ISCO chiropractors on every state board in the United States. That's where the scope of practice is created, maintained, changed. That's where laws are changed on the board level. If we don't have representation, we're in trouble. And we've added 4 or 5 new board members in various states, ISCO members in the recent past, so we're on track there. Number 3, student ISCO chapters at every chiropractic college worldwide. I believe we now have 15 active chapters in 15 schools, which is phenomenal, because if we're not inculcating the next generation of chiropractic in what it truly is, we're in trouble. So the ISCO is changing that visibly. And then number 4 is driving more students to chiropractic colleges. And I firmly believe in this, that we need more chiropractors in the field, singing the same songs, teaching the same principles, and correcting subluxation. You know, we opened a new office in South America, in Ecuador recently, and I go down to do the opening, and I think there's like four practicing chiropractors in the whole country of Ecuador. in the capital where we're at, in Quito, I think there's 2 active practicing chiropractors. So this is a city of 3 million people, and there's 2 actively practicing offices. So we open up our office, and a chiropractor, the other chiropractor in the town of 3 million people, the other only practicing office in a city of 2 million people, comes over and starts screaming at my CA for opening up in that country.
Oh, my God.
3 million people. 3 million people! Hey, boy, do you hear me? You hear me here? 3 million people.
Wow.
Two chiropractors, and he's worried about his professional boundaries. So that is a lack mentality that chiropractic has been running with for way too long. We need more chiropractors in the field, singing the same song, correcting subluxation, and reconnecting people. And hey, listen, if somebody moved into my town, I would love it. Not only if they opened up across the street, but in the space next to me. In the space next to me, we need more visibility for chiropractic. More importantly, we need to see chiropractic communicated for what it truly is. And those are the 4 steps for the IFCO's 2025 vision, and we're not stopping until it happens.
That's awesome. And you're exactly correct. I truly believe that the more offices, the more signs that say chiropractic, the more chiropractors there are out there, the more awareness there's going to be in people that they need to go to one. And so it's going to be the opposite effect of what some closed-minded chiropractors think. They think that if there's more chiropractors, there's going to be less for me, and it's the absolute opposite. If there's more chiropractors out there who are successful, there's going to be more awareness, and it's going to drive more people into our profession, and we're going to start to etch up on that percentage, what are we, 3.4% of America, where we're going to start, history is 50%, and you think that it would be more than that, but 50% is such a huge, huge number. 50% of 300 million is a lot, and if we could just if we got to 10%, we would be blowing up, trying to get more kids going to chiropractic school and trying to just keep up with the load that we had.
No doubt about it. And again, you mentioned, and I want to go back. I told you I wasn't going to tell you how people could join IFCO, but I want to make a statement first. There's a really bad thought process floating through chiropractic that a lot of chiropractors say, hey, listen, that's all good, but I don't get involved politically. I'm not a political person, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. Not all of us are politically active-minded people. So if you're not a politically minded chiropractor, that's great. Don't get involved in politics in chiropractic. But pay your dues to an organization that is going to get involved for you. Do you see the difference? So if you're not a politically minded person, great, don't get involved, but supporting an organization that will fight for your view of chiropractic gives you the right not to get involved politically. Yet that's your vote by proxy. That's your vote by proxy. So too many chiropractors have been reaping and taking and receiving for chiropractic, building amazing lives for themselves, and not paying their professional rent. Okay, and if we want to see this profession not only continue to exist as we know it, but advance, we need more subluxation center chiropractors supporting the IFCO. Heck, I don't care if you're the biggest therapeutic medical chiropractor in the world. You better be sending your money to the ACA, right? So whatever your professional values are as a chiropractor, if you see chiropractic as being medicine and strictly allopathic and short-term care, then you join the IFCA. I'm sorry, the ICA. If you see chiropractic being centered on the correction of vertebral subluxation, then you join the IFCO. If you see chiropractic being maybe some adjusting, plus some physical therapy, plus some acupuncture, plus some nutrition, then we've got a group in the middle. The ICA is kind of in the middle there. So all are great organizations, but pick the one that represents your values as a chiropractor and become a member of that organization and do it for life. Right. And if the IFCO resonates with you, you can join. And the website is ifcochiro.org. That's ifcochiro.org. And you can check that out. I can promise you one thing. You've never seen a website like ours.
Yeah, you know what? I mentioned that to you before we got on the phone. It's like that is the most amazing website that I think I've ever seen. Like, and all the listeners on here, you need to go to isco.chiro.org and, check out everything on that website, but you got to see that. And I had to, I don't know who is your developer, your designer, but they did an amazing job at that website. I was intrigued.
Steve Tullius did this. And Steve Tullius runs Chiropractic which is his company that does websites, social media, and patient education materials. And he did this for us, and it is just incredible. He can turn your practice website into something like this. Steve gives back percentages of all his sales to the IFCO. Not only that, but the guy in his business donates in excess of $5,000 a year to the IFCO. And so when you do business with a guy like Steve Tullius and Chiropractic when you do business with an organization like ChiroArt.org, who's developed modern contemporary artwork and posters for your office, when you do business with Matt McCoy and Chiro Futures for your chiropractic malpractice, these are three companies who are giving in abundance to the IFCO because they see the vision. And so we need to start being aware of the money flow in chiropractic. And when we give money to vendors in chiropractic, it needs to be people that are not contributing to our own demise, but are actually contributing to the advancement of chiropractic.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you that ChiroArt, I saw their website, and for you guys, if you go to ifcochiro.org and you click on the products tab, it'll take you to that website, ChiroArt.org. Is that what it is?
ChiroArt.org.
Okay.
And the ChiroArt.org is run
beautiful.
by my friend. Yep, it's incredible. I went to Sweden last year to meet with Ola Eriksson, who's become just a new brother to me. And Ola is a business person, a chiropractic advocate, an artist. He has just revolutionized what a chiropractic office should look like. And I just got them going down to South America and outfitting my offices there with all the ChiroArt posters and educational posters and flyers and things. And of course, he's giving back to IFCO as well. But if you look at this stuff, let me tell you something, man. And I'm not just saying this because he's linked with us, but I have never seen anything in chiropractic like what Ola has created. And of course, it took a Scandinavian with a sense of style to pull something like this off. But in America, we could never have done this.
Well, we need that. We need that in our profession. We need our offices to look like that and to portray that. Just being here in Houston, there's like 5 hospitals around my office, but they are beautiful. I mean, you walk in the front and they spared nothing to making those hospitals, putting art in there that's just worth probably millions of dollars. But that's what, when someone walks into that hospital and they see that and then they walk into a chiropractic office and it's not even clean or taken care of, that puts out a message. And so we need more art like that. We need more beautiful things that are in our practice so that people come in and they really see that chiropractic is successful,
Let me tell you a great story how important you just nailed it. For too long, we've as chiropractors, we've been practicing what I call refugee chiropractic, which is funky, low-budget, stinky stuff. And meanwhile, we're wondering why we're only capturing a small percentage of the population. And this is part of the reason, right? How we portray ourselves. And hey, listen, I grew a big practice in that funky realm for a lot of years. Just, bad-looking flyers and black and white this. And, I mean, it was bad. But for example, I put Ola's stuff in the first office in Quito, and I went down there. I got off. The office has been open just a few days, this new office. And I flew back to the States. Before I did this interview, I just got off the phone with my doctor that works for me down there. And he said, Shane, we have people that came to the inauguration, the grand opening, that have come in every day into the office and just sat and hung out.
Wow.
Because the vibe is so amazing in that office. The artwork is so fresh. Everything is so nice. So they come in for a first visit on a Monday. Their second visit isn't until Wednesday. They're coming in and hanging out, saying hi, and sitting in the office for an hour. And that's how much. Listen, I'm not making this stuff up either, Tabor. this is happening in this office right now. And a large percentage of that is because of the vibe we created in the office with ChiroArt stuff. And I started Starbucks. Howard Schultz, is the CEO of Starbucks. And when they started Starbucks, he had a vision for Starbucks of Starbucks being what they call the third place. You've got home, work, and then Starbucks, they wanted to be the third place. So they had a triangle in life: home, work, Starbucks. That's what he was trying to create. So we need to start thinking about the chiropractic office as the same concept as the third place. And ChiroArt stuff really helps contribute to that vision.
Absolutely. That's beautiful stuff. They have beautiful art. And so everybody on here, just, go now as soon as we get off the call to isco.chiro.org and check out everything on that website. And then I'm sure I know there's a contact form, or there's something where we can join, right, on that website?
Yeah. If you go to the website, www.ifco.org, and just click on membership. And please do that. And I want to say one last thing, too. A quick 30 seconds here, and this is so important. I already mentioned it, but I want to mention it again. Please be aware of the money flow in chiropractic and who you give your money to, not only as an organization like IFCO, but vendors. As I mentioned, we're getting ready to create an IFCO branding package, so IFCO members have the ability to just turnkey vendor, turnkey office, meaning you can buy a package at a reduced rate. So when you're an IFCO chiropractor, what does that look like? It means I use Genesis chiropractic software for my patient management, because they support IFCO and they have the same vision of chiropractic. I use ChiroArt for stuff that I put on my wall. I use Chiropractic for website patient education material. I use ChiroFutures for my malpractice. These are 4 groups that are never going to compromise the principle and let their money flow into the wrong hands. And so I can't stress that enough. If you want to see chiropractic perpetuated, join the IFCO, support those 4 chiropractic vendors, and support the Chiropractic College as well that represents how you see chiropractic should be taught.
Amen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on our call today. Dr. Shane, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate your webinar today. It was great. And for those of you listening, go right now to ifco.chiro.org. Start supporting the people who support you. Again, it's ifco.chiro.org. And thank you, Dr. Walker. We appreciate you being here. Everybody, have a great night.
Thank you.